welcome back, and today is the day that we talk about the day that I found out that Street Fighter sucks. The day that I played Street Fighter 1 for the first time, aka Fighting Street for the Turbografx CD.
Immense memory of CD software to bring you super intense game-playing action with nearly limitless levels of challenge and excitement. Like in Fighting Street, a kung fu-style arcade game with more than just a few kicks.
So this is a day for me that will go down in gaming history. It was 1993, it was the fall, and I only had this friend for about a year or so of my life. It's junior high. I go over to this kid's house, his name's Bobby.
That is the house. That is the house. That is the one. Huh.
There is the house where I first played Turbografx. I encountered the game Fighting Street. That is where I first played all those games. Keith Courage and Alpha Zones, and obviously Fighting Street. And I'm like, don't know what he has video game wise because I've not been there before. And I knew he had a Sega Genesis, and I had a Sega Genesis, and so I asked him, you know, hot game. You know, we talked a lot of hockey and stuff like that, but I asked about fighting games. I go, Bob, do you have Street Fighter 2 Special Champions Edition for the Sega Genesis? Because that would be just perfect. He says, no, I don't have it. You know what I have for Sega Genesis? I have Philios, which is a phenomenal shmup that I found out firsthand that day. I'd never played Philios before. And then he also had, not John Madden football, but
Mike Ditka Power Football.
yeah, and that football game sucks. It's no good. No good. That's not the only thing that he had that sucks, because he told me, he goes, I have on Turbografx CD, you know, my eyes lit up, Turbografx CD, holy crap, I've never played a Turbografx, I want to play this Turbografx. Street Fighter 1, and I'm like, oh my god, Street Fighter 1, oh my god, like, I didn't know that this thing existed. Like, you look at the video game magazines, and none of them talked about Street Fighter 1. They only talked about Street Fighter 2. It's like they intentionally didn't even mention Street Fighter 1. I remember reading Electronic Gaming Monthly and the hype around Street Fighter 2 that got me to seek out the original arcade machine. You know, when I was a young person, you gotta remember, people, there was no internet in 1993. I remember going to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and playing Street Fighter 2 World Warrior for the first time. Holy crap, EGM did not let me down. Never let me down, you know? And so I'm all excited. And getting Street Fighter 2 for the first time in my house, that's a whole nother episode. But this episode here, Street Fighter 1. So he's got Street Fighter 1, and I'm like, hot damn, we're playing this. And I proceeded to play my very first Turbografx game. Not just a Turbografx game, but a Turbografx CD game. And so we popped that sucker in, and it says Fighting Street. What the hell's Fighting Street? This isn't Street Fighter 1. You're lying to me. You're lying to me. You're lying to me. There's no way this is Street Fighter 1. It's Fighting Street. And then it starts, and the character's Ryu. And I think I was Ken. I think we played 2-player. I don't know. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. No. Oh no. Why the hell at the start of the fight does it sound like they're saying Michael?
Michael.
So then you start to play the game. And you're trying to do those moves that you love, that you know, the Hadouken, the Shuriken, and the spinny kick. So here you are, you start fighting, you're trying to get the move out, and maybe it comes out. Oh, look, it came out, but it totally missed. You're trying again, it's not happening. Oh, look, it's a punch. Oh, look, it's a kick. It's a punch and a kick, and you're trying to do moves. You're trying to do spinning kick. You're trying to do a Hadouken, a Shuriken. It just isn't happening. And so now you're jumping around like you're some sort of frog and trying to punch this guy and kick this guy as he's jumping at the same time in awkward, non-human-like ways. And, yeah, it's absolutely awful. This game just does not measure up to the pure goodness of Street Fighter 2. It's no wonder that Electronic Gaming Monthly didn't talk about Street Fighter 1. They'd say, oh, it's so much better than Street Fighter 1. They just said, oh, Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 is so great. Street Fighter 2. Well, what happened to Street Fighter 1? Now, I knew. And I didn't go brag to my friends that I played Street Fighter 1. In fact, zipped it, didn't tell anyone I ever played it until way later on when it was acceptable to talk about. Maybe they had the Street Fighter collection that includes Street Fighter 1 and you're like, oh god, that terrible game? That piece of crap? Oh my god. This is what they debuted the TurboGrafx-CD on. No wonder it failed. I wish I would have known better. I wish I would have been like, Bob, do you have ease? Do you have ease? Because the ease would be so much better. I mean, just listen to this voiceover work on the Street Fighter arcade game that they transferred over verbatim to the TurboGrafx-CD.
Look then, but don't forget there are many gods like you all over the world.
What? What? I can't hear you. Hello. Now listen to this clip from Ease. This is the voice of Skeletor, Alan Oppenheimer, doing the intro to Ease Book 1 and 2 for the TurboGrafx-CD. This way you know it was capable.
East, the ideal utopia. Once a country so peaceful and prosperous. A country where children were as free as the wind. A country where harmony blew through the hearts of all men.
Hello? Hello, anybody home? Huh? Think, McFly, think!
Yeah, NEC, think. Recut the audio to meet the expectations of your new CD-ROM hardware. That's simple. It would have been worth it. Even it would have made up for the rest of the crappy game. Okay, it wouldn't make up for the crappy game. But you know what? It would help. It would help. It wouldn't be something I'd be pointing out right now. Because anytime anybody ever talks about Street Fighter 1, the first thing they do is
All over the world.
So the roster of characters in this game is not as strong as Street Fighter 2, but it is the first Street Fighter. I don't know if I could really knock the characters. They're not. Some of them are not half bad. Some of them are kind of lame. Some of them are kind of starter characters that, you know, you could tell that they had some influence from, like Mike. Obviously a big Balrog influence. And, you know, originally, you know, he kind of had that Mike Tyson vibe anyway, Balrog does. So it's kind of funny. But, you know, the Ninja Star guy, he's kind of annoying. It's like, why does this guy get Ninja Stars? Why can't I have Ninja Stars? The guy in England, I think his name's Eagle, he's got the batons. Those things are kind of tough to beat when you first play the game. And the bosses are pretty damn hard, especially if you can't pull off special moves consistently. So a few more things to talk about here. The bonus stages, you know what? They're not half bad. There's a little bit of confusion, like when you're trying to do the one where you chop through the blocks. Like, it looks like you're going to press the button, you want to max out the red, like most video games, the meter moves, and you try to max it out. That's not the case. You don't want that meter to move at all. Or if it moves, you want it to go back to green and stay solid green. So that was a bit of confusion, but once you get the hang of that, it's not that bad. And then the other bonus stages, those are pretty easy. That's when the men are holding the blocks, and you try to chop at them. And that's a really easy bonus stage. But to be honest with you, these bonus stages are better than the rest of the game, sadly. What makes up for it in this game is the amazing CD audio soundtrack. They redid the soundtrack with CD audio, and the songs that I've been playing throughout this whole video, they are absolutely excellent takes on these, and I love actually listening to the soundtrack by itself and redoing the soundtrack for the CD player. Smart, not doing the voiceovers. Pretty dumb. So Fighting Street, did they change the name because they didn't think people knew of Street Fighter? It was released before Street Fighter 2, I believe, so it would make sense, wouldn't it? The NEC might have tried to change the name because they thought maybe it sounded cooler, or maybe Capcom didn't want people to know that their game was on Turbografx. I don't know which it was. There's all sorts of things, rumors, things like that, but either way, it was called Fighting Street instead. It is a turd of a game. It is not a good first CD release at all. And, but that being said, it's so bad, it's worth revisiting now and then, getting a laugh, enjoying the audio soundtrack, and I got a really crazy story to go around with it, and that basically is one of my favorite video game stories, to be honest, because like, you're thinking, oh my god, Street Fighter 2 is so good, I can't wait to play this, and we basically get a turd. What do you think of Fighting Street or Street Fighter 1? Do you have any memories of that game? Because to me, I didn't have any memories till I played this thing. And it was years later, obviously. And what a disappointing game. What a disappointment. It is not like Mortal Kombat 1, which is a decent game. And then you get Mortal Kombat 2, it's like Street Fighter 1. It stinks. Street Fighter 2. It's amazing. So, yeah, let me know what you think. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And subscribe if you haven't. And we'll see you in the next video. I can't wait. Peace.